guys to yet another episode of Lives of the Young. First and foremost, let me take this chance to appreciate our subscribers and welcome those joining us for the first time. For those who are new here and haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button. As you already know, we are in the business of inspiring, educating, informing, and impacting the lives of Africans with a goal of changing the negative narrative. Following a previous discussion, we talked about how does what we do impact our lives and what are the things that hinder our growth. So today we'll be taking the discussion a notch higher and we'll be talking about how do we measure growth in the lives of young people. So help me introduce my guests today again, and just let me know, but just tell us again, for those who haven't seen you on camera, just briefly introduce yourself.
Okay, pretty much sure you lot are not tired of listening to my voice. Say no more, you're gonna flow. It's your boy says more, XEIZMOR. That's my brand, that's my creative aspect in a name. And Shalom Stanley are my government names. And yes, I'm a fashion enthusiast, commercial model, podcast host. I'm a student in uni, Kenyatta University, pursuing fine art and design. And I think at that point I dropped the mic and I pass it on.
Okay, the mic has been passed.
Thank you so much. I am Chanda Gituku. I am a writer at Success Africa. I am a student at Kabarak University. I am undertaking Bachelor of Commerce, majoring in marketing. Yes, that is just a basic intro of who I am. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for gracing this show today as we talk about the lives of young people.
Yes.
Our previous discussion, we talked and highlighted what is it exactly we are chasing from individual levels, and the different hindrances that prevent us from putting our best out there.
Yeah.
And so today, you have put the best. You have done all it takes. You have put all the effort that you need to put in your careers, in your school, in your different aspects of your life. But my question is to you guys, how do you measure your growth? How do you measure your growth as a young person? And I want us to talk about ourselves individually. Yes.
Okay.
So we can go with you first.
Alright. So for me, once you asked that question, something vivid, I had a vivid vision of how to answer that, and it came in form of my fashion journey. Back in, like, we could say 3 years ago, because I saw pictures of me actually when I was in 2014, and by then I thought that I know how to dress, and I was like, I'm the boss, you get me?
Yeah.
But boy to boy, looking at the picture and me right now, and I'm like, yo, was that me, blood? I don't think so. No, cuz. So yeah, I've seen a lot of growth, to be fair, like that growth in terms of skill, growth in terms of like my ability in that area of fashion. I've seen a lot of growth because comparing the two persons, me then and me now, is totally different. Yeah, totally different. And also, what I'd say is on how to measure growth as a younger in this generation right now, as we speak, is if you see anything, let's say what you did yesterday, and what you're doing today, if there's a difference, then there's growth.
True. Yes.
Both positive and negative.
Yeah.
But if there's consistency, there's no growth. If what you're doing yesterday is the same as what you're doing today, there's absolutely, you're just stagnating there.
Yeah,
man. So that's what I'd say. Yeah, as a young person, just compare, like, let's say yesterday and today, and see what is different. Is it different that's gonna make you elevate and progress, or is it different that's gonna make you retrogress? Because growth is also both ways. It goes forward and backwards.
True.
Yeah.
So true. I love that. Measuring growth, because growth is constant. It happens whether consciously, subconsciously. It's just something that takes place.
100%.
And there is the physical growth that we all know. We wake up tomorrow, your legs are longer, you're taller, whatever is the case. But I'd say how I individually measure my growth is by dating back. let me go back to the books. Let me go back to the notebooks. Was I here? Then do I do this? No.
Yeah.
If there's a change, then that's how I recognize, okay, I actually have grown. And you feel growth. You feel growth.
More like that.
And you feel it through how you step into a room, how you converse, how you move through life. You will recognize it. And that's why it's important to measure it in a sense of gratitude and actually look back. It's not bad to look back and draw the history. Okay, this was the pattern. Has it broken? Has it changed?
Yeah.
So I think that's how we are to measure growth, by looking back. And it's still on your point of you take pictures and you're like, okay, this is what it looked like, now this is what it looked like. So yeah, I think that's how I visualize or measure my growth, by just getting back to the drawing board and being like, okay, we set this goal, we set this plan, have we gotten there? Have we at least moved in a certain way? So yeah, I think that's how we do measure growth.
I like what both of you have said, and I will use it as the basis of my next question. And you said about going back to the books and just checking where you used an example of a photograph. You used to dress like this 5 years ago, but you dress like this. There's obviously growth. And young people are so used to cutting themselves short, especially when it comes to growth. And you know, like it can be as small as it is, but we do not appreciate that. I want to maybe you can give instances where you have cut yourself short. And maybe it was a big growth, but you know, you were like, I mean, that's not worth celebrating. So how many times have you cut yourself short? And how many times have you come back and told myself, you know what, you did it. You know, you cut yourself and you told yourself, I did it. So how did it go for you guys?
Well, just an example for me, So I started commercial modeling in 2020, and it was obviously like when you're in something new, you're just learning the roots and how this thing works and whatnot. So for me, like, then I could say I was learning this industry of commercial modeling, TV advertisements, billboards and whatnot. So I consistently kept on showing up for audition and not getting chosen and picked. But once I landed my first gig, I felt nice, But then now there's this element of comparison that came because some boys of mine are in the game, and I've been in the game for quite some time, and so I've seen them on telly doing Tropical, doing what, like, name them, so many ads. And for me, I felt like, you know, it's not really that big. I was just like, it's just one, you know, like, it's just one. So that's one instance that, you know, I felt like, you know, it's whatever, man. But then at the back of my mind, I was like, right, you actually landed an ad, bro. And it was just not an ad in Kenya. It was a Pan-African ad in Super Sports. So I was like, right, actually, it's not too bad for a start. That's actually good, decent. You get me? So for me, that's my example.
What was your instance like?
My instance where I
You cut yourself short.
I cut myself short. Wow. I'm trying to think of an instance. I'm so held back because I'm like,
You actually don't need to have any.
Because I tend to forget experiences, especially ones where I have been caught up in certain strongholds. They just kind of like get in the back of my head and just. But I'd say I've honestly been through instances where I've held myself back from growth. But one thing that I am always telling myself is it's going to happen regardless. Regardless of whether you actually deal with it or regardless of whether you want it, it's going to happen. So how do we understand this and actually let it set something
Yeah.
for you. So yes, the instances have occurred several times, and I'd say most of them were more so personal, not such of a big
Yeah.
a grand
Yeah.
experience like yours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Most of them are personal, and that's why probably I've forgotten them.
Okay.
But like, yeah, I'd say that, and even in terms of healing, when you actually have it in your heart of hearts that certain things need to heal, you need to heal from, and you need to get past, whether it's trauma, whatever it is, you're held back, and that is growth. Healing is growth. But you're held back by your own voices, or you can't. It's too painful. It's something I don't want to revisit. You get so, and I'm not trying to make this such a traumatic experience for everyone watching, no. But that's how those are. I guess is an instance where I've held back. But it happens regardless. So just embrace that. Try and embrace that in your line of thought. I guess. So. Yeah.
You know, one thing that has come out from your points is ensuring you have a positive mental attitude.
Yes.
Whether you experience growth or whether you don't.
Yeah.
True.
Just, you know, having that positive mental attitude that you can actually keep going. Like it doesn't end there. There is always, you know, there's always another day
Yeah.
to face it in a different way.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about comparison.
Yeah.
And I think comparison is eating the lives of young people, many young people.
True.
And, you know, we compare ourselves to our peers. And so, do you ever feel like your growth is criticized by the growth of your other peers in any way?
Wow. I recently had a conversation with someone
Yeah.
around this topic,
Yeah.
and we ended up with the conclusion that everyone is just on their own journey, like literally, and
Yeah.
for sure everyone is on their own, and maybe back talk or whatever it is,
Yeah.
yes, but at the end of the day, people eat, sleep on their bed with
Yeah.
their own, yeah, but that's not a conversation everyone has.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I wouldn't say it's something that you can say you can what is this called? Not everyone has the attitude of it's whatever, it's my life. Like positive. No, some people once they hear that back talk once, it's over for them.
It's
Yeah.
over.
It's
Yeah.
done. But the constant comparison, I used to have it when I was in environments where I was insecure. Environments that had me feeling a certain way is when that insecurity would kick.
Yeah.
So I've had instances that was like, I'm not doing it, I can't do it, I'm not, and it was a constant thing I used to face when I was in high school, because I was good at so many things I did, but me and grades, I do my best. I always tell myself that I do my best. I come out average, but I literally just do my best.
Yeah.
So I would always have that comparison of like, I'm not smart enough. That was a constant voice in my head, I'm not smart enough. And it really held me back from just understanding that I was honestly enough. I'm the shit. That as like on everything I am.
Yeah.
And that comparison was because I was in an environment, a school environment. If you have been in high schools in Kenya, it's rubbish.
It's mad, isn't it?
It's mad. It's mad. So that insecure environment is what led to the whole comparison and whatnot. But once you realize that is the issue, and I realized that my environments are what literally affect me like that, I stepped back and I was like, you know what, if it means staying alone in certain environment to avoid that insecurity, then that's what I'll do. And it stopped. I've never looked at myself and compared. Honestly speaking, since after high school, I've never looked at myself and compared, because we are honestly so different.
Yeah.
So different.
100%.
Love that.
100%. So it's just this of comparison, and it's something that you face because we are human, and it's not something you can escape.
Yeah.
And it is constantly a struggle sometimes. So I'd encourage people to, like, young people especially, there's always this rush of that goes through us, that we're not doing enough. It needs to be like this. It has to be. No, it's your life journey. That is you to decide. That is up to you to actually actualize it. So the comparison is there.
Yeah.
And I hate that is the case, and that is the world that we live in, where that is a constant occurrence. But I'd say I've had my own.
Okay. Do you ever feel the same? Like your growth has been criticized by the growth of others?
Well, yes. And in this case, I will give two perspectives. One perspective of self and one perspective of the authorities that govern me, and that's my parents.
Yeah.
And maybe I might be speaking on behalf of other people as well. And so I'll touch on self first. So obviously, I have friend groups,
Yeah.
and there are certain people who are doing really well.
Yeah.
You get me? Younger than you, doing really well. And there's this one guy who is a trader and made serious profits and whatnot, and his life shifted. He had investments and shares everywhere. And I sat down with myself, I was like, Shalom, what's going on with your life, blood? You're 3 years older than Mandem, and Big Man. You get me? So I was like, rah, oi, I need to start doing something. So I compared my life with his. And I was like, nah, Big Man, you're a joker, you know. You're a joker. So it got to me, man. So I was like, yo, I'm actually not doing anything in my life. So that also led to me starting thinking of, maybe I should actually quit my uni. I'm starting to do something and decide to get bread. But that wasn't wise. Obviously that's not wise. So that's self. That's an instance where I've gone through comparison, and it wasn't really good. But at the end of the day, I realized that we're all in our own journeys. True. My man got his sprouting and that point where God lifted him at that point. And it was constructed for him at that point for a specific reason. For me, mine's not yet there, but God knows why. So I got contentment with that, and also allow me to introduce this other perspective of parents. And so I'm pretty much sure most of us who are under African parents have gone through this, whereby one time you've had a statement or phrase talking about, so and so is doing this, and they're not really, do you know what's mad? They're not really, and they kind of it's subtle, it's so subtle.
True.
They don't even mention that, someone so and so is doing this. Why are you not? But they mention it. It's like they're trying to slap you, but they're trying to go around you so that they can. You get me? Yeah, but like, and you've got in those sentiments. To the man that are listening, I'm pretty much sure it's nothing new here. What we're talking about is something we've gone through. And man, like, for them to come to that conclusion of, or rather that question of, but so and so is doing this, it means that they obviously know your life, and they've looked at theirs and they're like, bro, what is it that my son's not doing, or what is it my daughter's not doing? Let me try and instigate something by mentioning this, so that they could see that I'm trying to hint at this, but I'm not trying to point it directly for the sake of, their heart. There's that thing that's going on. Yeah, man. I know parents are listening. We're not trying to throw shade at you, lot, but it's going on. We're talking, don't come at me, blood. No, I'm just being rude.
But do you know, now that we're talking about that, because I have been in situations. Have you ever been in a group where you feel like, wow, this conversation, let me just pick my bags and just leave, because you feel like it's not for me, and I'm not saying it by bad. It's not like I don't like that company, but it's also good to assess your environment and know what creates your growth. Sometimes some environments could be, deteriorating you and making you feel like
less
of a person. But then some environments such as those can be places where you actually get motivated to do what it is. Sometimes, okay, those environments don't come as peer pressure. They actually they come to you as motivation. Motivation for you to even do better. I'll give an instance, and I love the fact that you guys both talked about individual journeys, and our journeys are different.
Yeah.
I remember like 1 year ago, when I got this job, there was a friend of mine who didn't have a job. So I got a job before her.
Yeah.
And it got to a point, she was comparing herself to me and wondering, you have a job, you can afford this.
Yeah.
If I bring up the issues of, let's meet up for lunch, she'll be like, I can't meet you, you're working, you have a salary, I don't have, and I could see that aspect of comparison between me and her. And I want to bring this point of we have individual journeys. And this year, that same friend of mine ended up having a job that is twice paying as mine. And this is the same person who was comparing herself to me. You see the aspect of comparison, that we have different journeys. You could be worried about your small salary, but you don't know where you will be the next 2 years. Maybe you'll be earning 6-figure or 5-figure salary, and you're comparing to a friend who was earning a 4-figure salary, or even So growth is really important. But you need to assess yourself on what makes you even grow better, and assess your environment and look at an environment. If it's not conducive, then leave. You don't have to fit in always. And as we measure our growth, how do we ensure, now that we know our journeys are different, how do we ensure that we trust the process? Young people have this habit of having instant gratification. You want things to happen chap. I want to be this, I want to be that, I want to have this, I want to have this. But they don't understand this delayed gratification, this trusting the process. So as we chase this growth, how do we ensure that we trust the process? Because sometimes the process can take forever. It can take long, it can take 5 years, it can take 10 years. But how do we ensure we trust the process?
Okay. I think I'll bring it out from this aspect. I'd say be appreciative of the process. But in appreciation, I mean get into the nitty-gritty, understand why certain things happen. Dissect it, angle from angle. Make sure you understand it, understand the process. That's where you can't just fly past and just imagine we are trusting, however, and just going, however. No. And it lies in appreciation. And there's certain things you go through in life and you're like, why? Is there even a need to even appreciate in the first place? But there's something very important in struggle and in pain that actually builds you for certain occurrences. But so I'd say appreciate in the sense of understanding why this had to, why this got it. How did this shaping help me get to this? I always keep referring to this as that I hated high school. I went through it, yes, and I did finish it, but it was a really shaky experience for me. And I constantly asking why did I have to go through all that nonsense? But now looking at it, we were recently having a conversation online with someone about being in Kenyan high schools and girls' high schools. It's just a different experience. And we were like, this is something that we can dissect, talk about, yes, but also get into it in terms of why are they like this, how does it get better, things need to change. But I wouldn't have even the grace to even talk about that conversation if I wouldn't have gone through that experience. And looking at it now, there's several ways my life has shifted, and there's a certain strength I have right now that I wouldn't have had if I didn't go through that experience. So I'd say in trusting the process, because we always imagine we are trusting ask anyone, they'll always tell you I'm trusting the process, I'm in it for the long run, but they're not really into it. So I'd say dive deep into it, appreciate in the sense of understanding. I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
What about you?
For me, I'd say this. And I'll use an example. I like using analogies. So obviously, like, you can't have a cake.
And it.
No. You can't have a cake, put it in the oven, and take it out halfway.
Wow.
You get sick once you consume the cake.
Yeah. Half-baked.
Yeah, you can't construct a vehicle and remove it halfway from its journey of construction and try drive it. You're gonna crash, or rather, it's not even gonna be functional.
It's not.
Yeah.
So there's reasons to why there's a process. Like, there's reasons to why there's a process. Process brings about your journey to completion.
True.
You get me?
True.
If you come halfway out of the process, you're half baked.
And to even pick on that, you will go back.
Yeah, you'll have to go. You go back to ground zero and start over again. And for me, I'd say that we need to like trust in the process, because in the journey of whatever it is that you're going through, whatever it is that you're doing, there's stepping stones.
True.
And stepping stones are not just you accomplishing a segment of that journey. It could be a failure. A failure could be a stepping stone to something greater. It could open you up to something greater, maybe change your perception of how you see things. Maybe that's what you needed to be able to see things different, to ascend to the next level. You get me? So that's why the process is so necessary. If you want it instant, you won't understand the reason as to why you're supposed to get, or rather, let's say once you get what you have, you're not gonna know how. On why you're supposed to keep it. If let's say you're making bread, let's say someone gives you like 10 million like Kenyan shillings, and you didn't know what it went through, or what it meant for that person to go through, what he had to go through to make the 10 million Kenyan shillings. You won't understand. In fact, you'll squander the cash, and you're just gonna go back to ground zero. It's because you're not fully baked. You're not. So true. It's not a steak that's not fully. It's not.
Cooked.
Yeah, like
medium rare.
Medium rare. It's not medium rare. It's not the case, man.
No.
It needs to be well done. Well done for you to be able to have efficiency, for you to be able to.
For you to enjoy it. For you to actually look at it and say, wow.
Like, for you to have value.
There's a joy in that.
Value and quality. Like,
you
need to go through the process. You need to go through the refining fire. Both ups and downs, that's part of the process, man. Instant gratification, this microwave gen that we're in. Man, it's a long day. It's a long day, man.
You said something and it triggered my thoughts. Being a believer of God, I have had situations where, I've had challenges. And sometimes I sit back and ask myself, maybe the reason as to why I'm going through these challenges is because I am not ready for what maybe God has in store for me. And as you say, sometimes you have to learn the hard way in order to know how to keep whatever it is that you're blessed with. You have to lose some money in order to be able to make use of the money that you will make in the long run. So I love what you guys are saying, and you guys are full of wisdom. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
I'm impressed. And
Jesus, man, it's just Jesus. I don't know why you're laughing, but it's true.
It's true though. It's true.
We've talked about criticism in growth and ensuring our environments are right for our growth. And as you measure your growth, how do you ensure that there is healthy competition between you and your peers? Because there'll always be
yeah.
competition
Yeah,
in
yeah,
one way
yeah.
or another.
Always
You always
is that.
strive to get the best,
Yeah.
and that's competition.
Mhm.
But how do you ensure there is healthy competition,
Yeah.
and it's not, you know, it's not something that
It's not
you have
something-
grudges about with your friend, but
Yeah.
how do you ensure that it's healthy?
Okay, for me, I'd say, like you said, there's competition, and competition is everywhere. Mercedes, BMW, competition.
Yes.
Nike, Adidas, competition.
Yes.
You get me?
Mhm.
Everywhere in the world there's competition. Samsung, iPhone, competition. They
Yeah.
always want to be on top of the charts. And one won't let the other be on top. They'll always come up with something better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So something that something that we can borrow from those concepts, because you could see Samsung, iPhone keep on elevating and growing and becoming
Yeah.
better phones, and they never get to a point where they're like, you know what's mad, like let me just chill, let iPhone lead and allow it to happen. Well, you need to have that spirit of you see someone doing something and you're like,
Yeah.
what you ask from a point of like wanting to learn,
Yeah.
gain and grow.
Yes.
Not
The
not
intention
not
behind
asking
it.
to jeopardize
Yeah.
their plans,
Yeah.
copy paste and try and get
No, no,
something. No.
No.
It's borrowing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's because we're all 7 billion in this planet, not to walk alone,
Yes.
but we're here to hold each other's hands and grow.
True.
Yeah. True.
And also what I realized with Samsung and iPhone
Yeah.
is that they make each other's like let's say for iPhone, correct me if I'm wrong, but for iPhone, Samsung makes the screens, and I think for Samsung, iPhone makes the software. So you see, they borrow and share ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like personally, I would say that for healthy growth, what could happen is that you can just borrow tips and tricks here, some bits and bobs of how you can. Let's say we have a conversation. I have a business idea, and I'm like, or rather, I have an idea or something that I want to do, and I share it with you. You should also be in a position to be like, cool, listen, I hear you, and your idea is actually mad. This and this is what you could do. For me, this is what has worked.
Yeah.
You could try implement it,
Yes.
this, and add also this, because your line is this, and
Yeah.
so it's more of constructive teamwork.
Teamwork.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Constructive teamwork that leads to
Wow.
effective and positive growth. That's what I'd say, to be fair.
Anything you can add
Wow.
to that?
I can only just add a sprinkle of something. I think one way to avoid the bashing and the clashing of you're doing and I'm not is having open and honest conversations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me explain to you how I got there. Let me explain how all this. Let's talk it out to an extent where everything is understood. I think that gives us peace even within my friendships that we're not competing. We are not. Let's understand that. Yes, journeys are different. Back to that, but also it's raw.
Yeah.
This is the real thing. This is how we got here. This is the process of how all this happened.
Yeah.
And once you explain that to someone, or even have those conversations around certain things, it comes out as a warm embrace to someone rather than we are trying to compete. I used to feel like that sometimes with friends, but rarely, and I would feel it and I would say it. You know, one thing I realized is people feel that competition and actually put it in a negative aspect and let it linger in their heads as I always say this: jealousy isn't bad. It's the action of it and actually how you process all that and how you deliver it. So feel it and actually tell your friend, actually, in all honesty, I'm jealous. I'm really, like, I'm looking at you and I'm like, when will I get there?
Yeah.
Acknowledge that first and then now let's dive into it.
Yeah.
Why are you jealous? Like, I'm insecure about this. I was trying this and it hasn't worked. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
And you will actually get to the drawing board of why it is. So to avoid that friction, and that's just a sprinkle of what I wanted to add, is let's understand each other to avoid making it feel as if we are in a stronghold. But competition is there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't receive, and it's a knock on the head sometimes to actually up your game, because it gives you a boost to an extent. No man is an island, but it's also coexisting.
Yeah.
It's in line with trying to mesh and get into a coexisting environment. So I think That is all I can speak of. But what you said is so powerful and so
Yeah.
And also, just before you continue, allow me to add this one point. I've just remembered as you're mentioning yours. And for me, like with my fashion, so many people come and ask me, bro, like, you're really looking so good, man.
Yeah.
I'm usually like, thank you. And they're like, well, I want to be like you one day. And there's certain men that are really in the game also.
Yeah.
They're trying to also like become better. But for me, I don't hold myself back and say that, rah, you see me, I'm the boss here. You can't chat to me now. You can't tell me nothing. You under my shadow, under my wing.
Yeah.
I thought you smell. You get me? It's not like that. It's not like that. No. It's not like that. So for me personally, I'm usually like, rah, man has approached me and asked me like, big man, like you do your thing really well. Like, how do you do it? So for me, I'm always ready to give and offer like. How can I assess his fashion and whatnot, his style and everything, and I just give like constructive advice, like, bro, this is what you could add, this is how I do my thing, this is how I think when I'm like constructing this and da. And then because for the people that have approached me and have done that, like I've seen change in the style and the time. I'm like, wow, I love that. Come on. And that's proper. And it makes my day, man. It makes my day. All my days. So just now the point is this, I guess our heart, like we need to have a heart to help. We need to have that heart to want to uplift.
This is
because you might go to someone and you have the intention of constructive teamwork, but they're not on the same page.
They are not on the same page.
For them they look like you're trying to like shut me down. You come with an idea like, bro, this brother might actually be more of a billionaire than I am. But instead, let them grow. Have the heart to want them to grow, man. Those listening out there, let your brethren grow. Have the heart. You get me? Let's all grow, man. It's not that when someone makes this and comes up with a better idea than yours, they're there to like shine you. No. It's not like that. Let them grow, man. Let's have the heart to want people to grow.
And I agree with you guys. And you guys talked about having a pure heart, especially when it comes to appreciating our friends and what they do best or better than us. And what I got from your conversations is that we can have healthy jealousy, where you're actually very, very and genuinely happy for somebody, but you can also use that as something to grow you, and even by understanding that maybe that is what she was built for or he was built for, and understanding that you have your different paths, you have a different journey, you have different gifts and talents and skills, and they cannot be the same at any point. So you wishing another person bad luck does not add to any better luck for yourself. You know, appreciating and knowing that we are created differently with different gifts. So we do not have to take, a step back. Instead of growing what God has given us, we are busy jumping into other people's lives and just trying to be like them. You stick to what you're best at. At the same time, you're happy for your peers. You're happy for the people around you. And that leads us to our quote for the day. And we are going to discuss it briefly because of time. People are like that. They can either nourish you and help you grow as a person, or they can stunt your growth and make you wilt and die. So just in the same discussion of talking about having yourself in an environment that either boosts you and makes you grow and not nini. So what can you guys say about that quote?
I'd say it goes back to the people you have around you.
Yeah.
It just goes back to that. The type of people you want in your circle and you encourage to be in your circle says a lot, because with that you are able to grow, and because at the end of the day, no man is an island, honestly. But intentionally choosing, because it's a choice to be in people's lives, and it's a choice to want people in your life, because if you really don't, you have the choice. We have the freedom to do that. So it is a choice to intentionally want certain people in your life. And if it doesn't suit you, if it doesn't work for you, if someone isn't for you, let them go.
Yeah.
Let them go. Block that. Have a boundary with that. Have a boundary and understand that that is what I want. It helps you navigate certain aspects in your life that you wouldn't be able to actually do if you don't have that. So it's actually finding the right people. And if you don't necessarily have that for you, I'd rather stick by yourself.
Yeah.
Stick by yourself, and not in the sense of you're trying to isolate necessarily and say have a negative approach towards people, but it's because you're protecting your energy, you're protecting your peace, you're protecting yourself, and it is key in this life. There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
From people especially, there's a lot of rubbish. So if there's no recycling and actually breaking certain connections, then there's a lot of that will happen. But yeah, I agree. There's a lot.
Nice. What do you think about that quote, Sesmo?
Like, come on, spud me on that, man. You said Sesmo, you are different. You are different. Yeah. Guys, take notes. Be like her. I like that. It gives me more motivation to even say this. So here's the thing, yeah? I'm not even changing my sitting position. And here's the thing. You're a sum total of the 5 people that you spend the most of your time with. Yeah?
Wow.
So if you spend the most of your time with chicken and you're an eagle, you learn how to fly. You wouldn't know that you can get to 30, 35, 40,000 feet. You just know how to scrape the floor with your claws. But you have wings that can take you up there. You wouldn't know the potential of that. But if you have friends or people that you surround yourself with who are eagles, trust me, if you're a chicken, you believe you can get there.
Yeah.
You believe you can get there, man. Yeah. Remember, you're a sum total of the 5 people you spend the most of your time with. I'm out.
Wow, that is Success Africa, where we have rich and deep conversations. That will be it, ladies and gentlemen, for this episode. Catch us next on the next session to talk about lives of the young people. Thank you.